if university has taught me one thing, I mean, multiple things it's taught me, but one of the things it has is that a big part of university is to teach you how to learn things, is also to teach you how to learn. Because a lot of knowledge nowadays is available on this vast site of the World Wide Web.
Education is free.
Education is lit now. Where the education comes from, yeah, very questionable sources these days. But education is in fact free. If you choose the right sources, if you go to the right sites, you can find some really good education.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, where the real question is, how do we make use of this education? Right? And that is where university comes in. Because university takes that knowledge that you already know. They're already like, okay, we're not going to just teach you things word for word. Now, I know there are a lot of programs in university that do this. Literally, it's just like textbook answer. Like it's very boring. But I mean, I shouldn't say that for a lot of people that are in those courses. But in science, at least, in math and physics in particular, it's a lot of application. So they're mainly just teaching you, not really the knowledge part, but they're mainly teaching you how to learn the knowledge. So when you're reading it then, when you are assigned those pre-class readings, those after-class readings, and you're actually reading them, you can move through them. And for example, in quantum mechanics, in the beginning of our second year, the readings were a lot harder than at the end. I remember reading those original readings.
So easy.
Exactly, right?
It was so easy.
For our exam review, when we were reading the original, we're like, this is so easy.
We didn't even have to read it. Like
so easy.
We started reading the first paragraph and we're like, why? Like
all the math, like the Dirac notation, all that stuff. We're like, this is so fundamental now. Like, what's the point? And that is the point of going to class, going to this. And if that's the main purpose.
If you think about it for 2 seconds, every class, most classes have textbooks. The textbook has all of the information that you need to pass that class, right? So why are you paying tuition to go to school? You're paying for a professor and TAs to help you learn the material, right? But it's actually like a double Uno reverse, because you're paying them to teach you, but they're teaching you how to teach yourself.
Yeah.
Because the real value in paying professors to teach you how to teach yourself is that once you graduate, you can pick up a textbook on a new topic. Let's say I don't take a topology course, and then I graduate and I say, you know what, I want to learn topology. I can grab a textbook, and by the time that I graduate, I'll have so much experience in, learning university math that I already know how to teach myself the content just by reading the textbook and, doing the exercises and taking notes, whatever. That's where the value comes from.
Big value in just doing all of these exercises. One other thing I would highly recommend in university that you don't see in any other high school or in any environment before this is something called tutorials, right? Not really a thing. So most classes, now not all classes, but most classes in university, and I also believe this is outside of it as well, like outside of Canada. This is not only a Canadian thing. This is everywhere, because
I don't know if they're called tutorials.
Probably not called tutorials. Maybe some call something else. But what I'm trying to say is every lecture has a kind of a separate section where you have a personalized time with one of the TAs, the teaching assistants of the class. And I believe almost all courses every single course has TAs. And the point of this whole rant is make use of those TAs. So teaching assistants in almost every class are kind of like semi-professors, are a nice way to think about them. They're always your higher upper year students, some studying already in a doctorate program, some just in higher year university. And at the end of the day, they've been through what you've already done.
They have the knowledge that you want.
They've literally already done it. So the reason why you would want to gravitate towards these teaching assistants is because they've already done it. So if you ever have any doubts, any queries, so many times in university you get imposter syndrome where you're like, yo, is it only me? There's no way everyone's confused. Believe me, most of the time
everybody is
confused. And that's what ends up happening. And that confusion a lot of the times can be solved with just a little bit of help, just a question away. So some people like are definitely more approachable in university because they're also a lot more people. They treat you as adults. They're not treating you as children, which is I guess one big difference if you're starting university soon. So there is a lot of new things coming into university from high school for sure. There's a difference in the style that they treat you, in the style that you're in class. I was appalled by the fact that you didn't have to ask to go to the washroom anymore. Like that was, I actually
didn't
asked.
find it so surprising.
Really? No, and in one of my classes, I'm like, hey, can I go to the washroom? He's like, I don't care. I'm like, oh,
You're like, go home. I don't care.
okay. Yeah, so it's really chill
No, yeah.
of an environment is what university is like.